Hi y'all, and welcome back to another episode of How You Austin. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you all down to Austin City Limits Music Festival, ACL, baby. So pull up a chair, let's check it out. Some cities have such a special music scene that they get a nickname attached to their name. Motown, Detroit Rock City, home of the blues, birthplace of rock and roll, Memphis, Tennessee. Music City, Nashville. New Orleans definitely has that laid-back lifestyle, and their sweet jazz is definitely a big part of that, so I think the Big Easy fits them quite well. Austin, Texas is no different. Live music capital of the world, baby, and rightfully so. You can go all over this city every single night of the week and find incredible musicians playing some really good music. You can even sometimes I've flown into the airport and you'll find people sitting there playing some music when you fly into the airport. So that's it's a really incredible music scene, no doubt about it. And the ACL festival is a testament to that. It's a massive festival. 6 days of music spanning 2 weeks. You have people, definitely people from all over the country, and you got people from all over the world coming in to be a part of that. It's really something special to be a part of. You can have upwards of 70,000, 80,000, maybe sometimes even 100,000 people on any given day. It is quite a special event. Now, with all those people definitely comes some logistics getting in and out of the place. I am lucky enough to have done deliveries in all of the neighborhoods surrounding Zilker Park. So I've got the map pretty much ingrained in my head, and I would say it gives me a little bit of an advantage. I park across the river on the north side of the river, and I just walk in. I definitely bring me a pair of comfortable shoes, because no matter how much you know the city, there's quite a bit of walking involved. You're on your feet all day long. And I know that Austin has a pretty bad reputation for having horrible traffic, and while that might be true in some cases, if you're trying to go on the major highways and interstates, yeah, you're going to be beating your head against that traffic wall. But I'm not going to give away my secrets, but I will tell you there are ways that are quite pleasant around all that traffic. You don't have to do that. I'm not going to give my secrets away. I will say there are ways around it. I will say there was an artist there that I definitely was there to see. Anyone know who that is? I was definitely there to see an artist in particular, so my ACL experience was probably not the most thorough, probably not the most in-depth, but I was still able to capture a very good bit of what goes on and give a pretty good idea of what it's like inside. So, of course, Zilker Park is a pretty good sized park. It's got a wonderful backdrop. You've got downtown as a backdrop. You can't help but notice the big flags. You've got several different shops all around. You've got the merch shop. You've you've got the big tent, you've got the hydration station. Oh my gosh, there was so much food. I started at one end and just kind of panned down, tried to get a shot of all the places that were there serving food, and it is quite a tough decision. I was there on both Sundays, Sunday October the 6th and Sunday October the 13th, and the first day I decided to get me a barbecue sandwich from Terry Black's. Not a bad choice. And the second weekend, I really felt like, I was like, you know what? I saw some of these people walking around with this foot-long corn dog the first weekend, and the second weekend, I was like, you know, I want to try me one of those big old corn dogs. And it might have been too much corn dog. They're pretty dang big, but it was a good corn dog nonetheless. And I found me a nice little spot in the shade. There's a lot of shade trees there. Plenty of shade. You can bring your chairs in and find a nice little spot in the shade. And I found me a nice little spot in the shade by the stage that Sturgill Simpson was playing at. That's why I was there. I was there to see Sturgill Simpson. In my opinion, he's the freaking GOAT, the greatest artist of our time. But, of course, everyone is going to have their own opinion on that, and that one is mine. Even though it's a very bustling festival, it's relaxing enough to where I actually saw people laid down taking naps. I was like, my gosh, and that, I'm not going to lie, early on in the day, when I got settled in, that kind of happened to me. I was finding myself like trying to lean my head back on my chair, and it's even though it's a very bustling festival, there are times where it can be quite relaxing. So okay, the stage where I was at, there was numerous artists. Sturgill was the last one. He basically was one of the closers of that show. You had Sturgill Simpson on the Honda stage, and you had Tyler, the Creator, on the Amex stage, and they were basically the ones closing that show out. So, anyways, one of the artists that I saw on the Honda stage was this fellow named Oliver Peck. He's got a good sound. He did a good job. He's got some very blinged out cowboy outfits. I was pretty much digging his outfits, and I thought he did a good job with his music. The first weekend, he was talking about this duet that he did, and he was like, yeah, I wrote this song with a fellow named Willie Nelson. Of course, Austin, you know, Willie, the crowd, yay, Willie. He's like, oh, you know him, huh? And the second weekend, he was doing that spiel again. He was talking about his duet song, and he starts talking about, yeah, I wrote this song with Willie Nelson. Oh, and guess what? Willie just happens to be here today. The crowd goes nuts. I happen to just perfect timing. I happened to get up. I was like, I think I'm gonna go get some shots of Orville here, because I was relaxing in the shade. I fry. So, I mean, look at me. I fry. If I'm in the sun too long, I fry. So I had to find plenty of time in the shade. But anyways, I just happened to get up at this moment and go walking around the outskirts of his stage, and he starts talking about that duet song with Willie Nelson. And, you know, he's like, I wrote this song with Willie. And oh, by the way, Willie is here to do the song with me. The crowd goes nuts. It was like a bum rush for the stage. Everyone was trying to get as close as they could, and I feel pretty fortunate that I was right there, and I was able to get some shots of Willie, 90-year-old Willie, coming out on the stage, doing that song with Orville. That was definitely one of the highlight moments for me of the festival.
This song is really special too. You know, it's a... How you doing, Willie? I'm good. How you doing? I'm great. Should we do this? All right, let's do it.
Another band that I saw on that stage was a band called Mr. Wives. They have a pretty good sound. The singer is a very, very upbeat person, very inspirational person. Her music was very inspirational. Her crowd was definitely into it. They were jumping around, hands in the air, and she's very high energy herself. So I feel like they did a pretty good job. Another artist that I saw was this guy named Mike, and I think he comes out and says, he's like, yeah, I'm kind of hard to find on Google because my name, it's just Mike, but if you put in Mike Dot, then I was able to find some of his stuff that way. But he comes out, and that guy, he comes out all by himself. He's got no band. He just pumps the music through the speakers, and that guy, he did a hell of a job. He did a hell of a job. And one of the big stories was, God, I hope I don't say this wrong. Don't fry me if I do. One of the massive stories of ACL was Chappelle Roan, and her crowds were freaking ridiculous. I didn't get any footage of her because I was at my on stage waiting for Sturgill, but he was basically the artist that was in that slot, found out that Chappelle Roan was going to be playing in that time slot, so they canceled. They're like, we're not trying to compete against her. They were out, and Mike was like, I'll take that spot and I'll make it rock, and he sure did. He was calling both weekends. Both weekends, he called someone from the crowd. He's like, hey, come on up here, come chug a beer with me. So that was pretty cool, of course. You know, everyone, oh, pick me. And both weekends, he came down into the crowd, which that was freaking awesome. He comes down to the crowd, he's doing his thing, he's getting up on the rail, he's singing, everyone is getting into it. And I actually was able to, because I was pretty much up on the rail, so I was able to hold my hand out, and while he was walking by, he gave me a high five and waved to my camera. That was a pretty cool moment for sure. Another highlight of my festival weekend. And then the man I had. This is a flag. This is a flag that I made. It's a bunch of hot glue and glitter. And the first weekend they let me bring in my flagpole, my aluminum flagpole. The second weekend they did not, and I was pretty upset about that. But it didn't matter. I still brought my flag in. The first weekend with my flagpole, we were able to wave it around a little bit. The second weekend, I was dead center on the rail, so I figured it would be best to put my flag out on the rail there. Both weekends, I found awesome Sturgill people to hang out with and watch the show with. Wonderful people. Exchange some numbers, still talk to those people. And definitely another highlight was meeting those people that were there for the same reason I was, and sharing that moment with them. And Sturgill is just flat out incredible. I cannot, for whatever it's worth, my opinion, he is the greatest artist of our time. I don't know how else to put it. If anyone is interested, I do have a playlist, a Sturgill Simpson playlist on Spotify. It's just called Sturgill Simpson The GOAT. G.O.A.T. Sturgill Simpson The GOAT, if anyone wants to download that. But Sturgill, his band is incredible. His lead guitarist is incredible. His bass player, his guy on the keys, his drummer. They got the smoke rolling by. They got the lights. He is just, oh my gosh, he is, he's truly an incredible artist, and I definitely got to say that was my that was my biggest highlight, really the whole reason I was there. That was definitely the biggest highlight of my weekend, getting to see Sturgill Simpson. And I feel like I might be beating that dead horse. So anyways, that is pretty much my ACL weekend, and that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.